Welcome to Whatever's News. I'm your host Charles, bringing you the information you need to know. I pray your day is going well. Let's get into some important news about Part 2 defunding the STEM program and the great deal it has affected our black engineering programs. The asset stripping 2.0 from 1964 to the future of STEM, we assume a diversity bridge was in the works on higher learning for the STEM and the black engineers program. From 1965, the people who fought hard in this era fought through a great deal of pain and hurt just to get this bill to be approved. This moment right here set the bar high for our people to make progressive moves on having the same or more advanced technology than other universities who may have allowed us to be a part of their campus and compete with the very same people that took their time to dismantle the STEM program. I wonder if the black conservatives ever wonder about this part. Hopefully they get it. But today, the bridge to the future, specifically in engineering and technology, is being dismantled, along with disabling the connection. The Civil Rights Acts of 1964, Title VI, prohibiting discrimination in programs receiving federal aid to the current federal defunding of black STEM initiatives without no consideration that our education matters. We, the people of common sense, noticed the tone change once the circus tour took control of the House and Senate and devised a plan to eliminate higher education for K-12 and HBCU's engineering programs. We're not just talking about social justice. We're talking about economic sovereignty. Going into the legislative legacy, in 1964 and 65, Civil Rights Acts wasn't just about fountain water. It was about the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, the EEOC. It gave us the legal right to sit at the table and break bread till a dream come true. For the present and for future students to benefit from this STEM program, the 65 Voting Rights Act was created to be a powerful tool to ensure we could choose any position available with skill training and a great education to back it up. What was supposed to have been a framework and building blocks to equity and equality turned out to be a bad magic trick. Poof, pow, be gone type shit. But guess what? Once the circus tour took over, all the golden opportunities listed became fool's gold, an ice chest with a big hole in it. And no one seems to know anything, no meaning, no accountability. Again, this was the beginning of a framework going into the 1965 bill as the corporate charter of black America. It wasn't just about the ballot box. It was about the legal right to influence where federal tax dollars flow. The connection in 1965 was fought for the right to choose the people who sign the checks when the current administration halts STEM programs today. They're essentially overriding the representative power we secured 60 years ago. The STEM program was to keep reminding the audience that these bills were meant to be launch pads, not finish line. They were designed to ensure that federal tax dollars could never again be used to subsidize exclusion, which the current administration seems to have amnesia on. Here's another blueprint. Message that this one needs to know. With priorities of Executive Orders 14151 and 141573 explains how DEI is being used as a proxy word to defund actual technical infrastructures at HBCUs and urban research centers. We have the fact check, the data. The loss of $350 million in discretionary grants recently directed from minority-serving institutes, which HBCUs produce 25% of all black STEM graduates despite being only 3% of the institution. The impact was cut the diversity budget. These clowns knew exactly what they were doing. They weren't just cutting social programs. They were cutting the lab equipment, the research stipends, and the patent tracking offices for the next generation of engineers. I'm going to introduce to you the pros and cons, the meritocracy debate, the administration, and what's going on with the circus tour. They continue to claim of the return of colorblind merit. They argue that removing race-based funding fosters competition. The reality of the circus tour is to continue throwing out the finish line. You cannot have a meritocracy in a field that still carries structural depth of exclusion with economic costs. Diversity in STEM contributes to 69% of the U.S. GDP. Cutting these programs is not saving money, it's slowing down national innovation. The STEM program is losing the global race. If the U.S. hosts the development of its domestic talent, black engineers We see the tech lead to global competitors who are investing all their human capital. All is not lost yet. One thing we the people of common sense know, God sits high and looks low. We must keep resistance while organizations are holding the line, because we have an administration that has failed to keep their word. So the community stepped up. The people of common sense recognize those who refuse to let the fire go out. The NSBE, the National Society of Black Engineers, still a vanguard. Their 10K by 2025 and beyond initiative is the North Star, the Divine Nine, deploying scholarship funds that bypass federal anti-DEI filters. Thurgood Marshall College Fund, ensuring HBCU's talent reach the private sector where the public sector failed. Black girls do STEM, who are closing the exposure gap while the government tries to widen it. Private tech coalition corporations that have doubled down on merit-based equity, realizing that a world without black engineers is a world with broken technology. So we, the people, recognize the innovation of necessity. Historically, the most groundbreaking black engineering didn't happen during times of surplus. It happened during the times of struggle. The perspective is to cut the funding. They sure did. Inadvertently forced us to build our own system, because this is how we roll. People, the power of optimism comes from knowing that we are the source code, not the hardware. You can break the machine, but you can't break the logic. The funding of federal private programs is a painful wake-up call, but it's also an invitation. We've had too many cookouts and Sunday dinners, extending hands that should have been the breaking bread at this point. And at that point, the bread became stale. The problem was one of the things we took serious was the dismantle of the STEM program, which is beneficial to our people. Now we have to remove ourselves from the seat at the table and break out the side ruler and hammer, building our own chairs and tables. There's a unique freedom in not being held down to a government that can vote your existence away every 4 years. Our optimism is rooted in sovereign success. They want us to believe that our brilliance is tied to a line item in a government budget. They want us to think that if a stroke of a pen in DC can defund a program, it can defund the people, but they forget who we are. Long before there was a 1964 Civil Rights Act, there was the ingenuity of the soul. We are descendants of the people who mapped the stars without a telescope. We are the bloodline of the builders who laid the stones of the pyramids. So precisely, a hair couldn't fit between them. We are the sons and daughters of the men and women who are denied the right to read engineered words to fight through north the swamps and the shadows of a country that didn't love them back. Our black engineer program wasn't born in the government office in the 60s. It was forged in the halls of ships. It was refined in the dirt of Delta. It was perfected in the secret midnight schools of the South. The next generation deserves better. With great appreciation and gratitude, thank you so much for being at Whatever News, where your concerns matter. Smash that like button, send your comments, and thank you. Keep building.